Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about forever characters, a useful new tool in modern storytelling. So one of the things that I've noticed, I watch a lot of movies, I read a lot of books, I read a lot of tabletop role-playing games, and one of the things that you see in modern storytelling is pacing. Pacing is a huge issue in modern storytelling. It is argued by many creators that it is the most important thing in modern storytelling. I agree that pacing is one of the most important things in modern storytelling. And one of the reasons why I do say this is, one, I'm incredibly blessed to be part of the modern viewing community. So let's just talk about film, right? So there's like 200 movies coming out a year. And I go to see quite a few at the movies, but even as often as I go, I can't see all the movies that are coming out. And so I have other streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and Crunchyroll. That's 4 streaming services that I currently have. I can't even remotely come close to watching all the good movies that exist. And that 200, that's Hollywood fare. That doesn't even touch the independents or the foreign films that come out, right? So there's so many coming out that there's really more than enough modern movies for me to watch without going and watching old stuff. But I'm frequently told by friends, you should go and watch old movies. And I try. So I go and I try to watch an old movie. And often, if it's more than 10 or 20 years old, I just really struggle to watch it. And the reason why is the pacing is so slow from those eras that comparatively, it's almost painful to watch. Right? So pacing is a modern storytelling tool that is used. And one of the things it does is it allows us to tell a more compelling story because you see more of what's going to happen to that character. And the trick now is, how do we tell stories at a fast pace where people are still being connected to the characters because they know the characters personally, they care about the characters, and how do we also make the story clear, right? So that is a modern storytelling problem that we have to solve. But one of the new modern storytelling tools that has emerged, in my opinion, that really hasn't been recognized fully yet, and I'm saying we should recognize it, and we should really begin to be very aware that it exists and then determine how to use it going forward. Because one of the things I think is it actually just kind of sprung up for us is the forever character. Forever characters are characters that have an in-story reason, okay, why they should never die and should always be around, and why you can continue to put them into stories, especially film and television. So really, this is really a film television issue, right? It's been this way always in books. But for film and television, right now, Marvel is looking at a complete reboot. They're getting very close to the end of what they can do with their current set of characters, specifically Robert Downey Jr. Maybe he's got 2 or 3 movies left in him. Because each of those movies takes about 2 years to create, so that's 6 years. I think it's more and more challenging for him to do these films. Also, they have a hard time just keeping a hold of the cast because they become so popular, they can do other films, all these different reasons, right? So you can't keep the same actors in roles forever, okay? Now, there have been a few characters in different television shows and movies who have 100% solved this, right? So I'm going to talk about three examples. And I think there are many more examples out there, but the one that comes to mind immediately is Doctor Who. Doctor Who has regeneration. So the Doctor, in story, there is an idea that he can regenerate, okay? And that's a big deal because it gives you an in-story reason to every 2 to 3 to 5 to 7 years to change the Doctor to a new actor, and it has a lot of rich story. It provides rich story nutrients rather than being a huge problem. So Doctor Who, I think, was the one that solved this most masterfully. What they did was they created a situation where a huge problem that most shows had became a huge opportunity for their show. And you've seen that, and there's literally over a dozen, there's a dozen doctors now, which is crazy. That's amazing. So that's really awesome. It's really special. It's a really interesting show. Another really important forever character is Boba Fett, right? So Boba Fett in canon has been determined to still be alive within the Star Wars films, and he really, fans really responded well to him, really clicked with him. But his Mandalorian armor covers his face, right? Now, we saw what he should look like as a child, but there's really good story reasons why we would never see Boba Fett's face, right? And we can just have stories that deal with Boba Fett in the armor. And because he's in the armor, you can just, put new actor after new actor after new actor in there, and it's always going to seem natural. So there's a really strong incentive to never ever kill Boba Fett, because he's a forever character, right? You can just keep putting him in there, and you don't have that old issue of, oh, we just switched the actor. That's jarring for the viewers, right? Another one that's really unusual is that I want to talk about is Princess Leia. So Princess Leia, she died in the middle of creating the second round of Star Wars films, right? So actually the third trilogy, 7, 8, and 9, and she passed away. Carrie Fisher passed away, the actress who played Princess Leia. But before she did that, she did this really important thing, and I think it's going to be kind of historical, and that is she gave permission to use her digital image for Rogue One, and said, hey, I know you want to put Princess Leia in Rogue One, but I'm alive, and but I'm too old to play her at that age. I want you to digitally create me, all right? Or go right ahead. You have my blessing. And that's really important because, and then recently, Carrie Fisher's family said, we're giving you permission to digitally recreate her for 9 as well, for the trilogy. And I think Disney actually got the permission to use her image going forward permanently. So actually, I think Princess Leia will become a forever character. She will never die in the Star Wars films, and they're gonna create story reasons why that's the case, and I think the other issue is, one of the biggest things why I'm talking about this today is recognizing when you have a forever character. I think there's some other forever characters, and when you think about forever characters, it really makes we need to start thinking about these things from a film and movie perspective in a new and different way. A perfect example, right, is Deadpool was a massive success. It made like $750 million. By the way, I've never seen that film. I actually wish they had not made that film. That's a whole separate topic, my opinions on Deadpool. But Deadpool is a forever character. He's masked. He wears a full face mask, right? So you could continue to recast him as new character. Now, here's the issue. I think I can argue different points about Deadpool, but I don't think on whether it should be made and what it did to the comic book industry. But I think one of the things that cannot be debated about that movie is the fact that Ryan Benjamin, pretty sure that's his name, he did an amazing job actually portraying him, Ryan Reynolds, sorry. Sorry about that. All right, he did an amazing job with bringing that character to life, and a lot of people think that he's iconically Deadpool. Well, here's the issue, right? He's not young, and especially by Hollywood standards, he's definitely not young, and so I think he should definitely have a trilogy, right? But the way movies work, they take 2-3 years to come out, right? So one, he was kind of an older person, Hollywood standards again, to make Deadpool when he made it a couple years ago. Now he's making the next one, right? Now, if they're shooting, that's fine. Just go ahead and have him play it, right? But for the third movie, at minimum, if not the second movie, in fact, if they haven't started shooting, I think they should do this right away. Get a body actor to play Deadpool and get a separate person to play his voice, right? And the reality is those are two really distinct, unique skills, and I think you'll be better off merging two incredible talents, and you'll get a better performance than you would trying for one guy to continue to do this very physical role for 3 different films, right? So Ryan Reynolds should really drop out physically from the Deadpool suit, recognize this is a forever character and that you can do 2, 3, 4 trilogies, and become the voice for this entire trilogy, and then right away recognize that he should step out of the voice role as soon as the second trilogy breaks off. So I think that's it's just one of the things. So when you recognize the power of a forever character, you realize it requires choices and decisions and actions on the part of producers and directors and writers. And so I just wanted to share my thoughts on forever characters. Thank you.